It has now been a month, 1 month of Anheuser-Busch reeling from a boycott over its brand Bud Light. And boy, they tried everything. They said, just ignore it and it will all blow over. And then it persisted through Easter weekend. And then they got a little worried and they were like, okay, well, we'll just stay the course. And then at the end of that week, they said, everybody, look, we didn't intend to be divisive. Thank you and have a nice day. And everybody got mad. You see, the left was saying, why aren't you defending Dylan Mulvaney? And the right was saying, why aren't you apologizing for this? And since then, sales of Bud Light have dropped precipitously and their rivals have gone up. We now have this story. We have a handful of stories updating you on the matter. My favorite, of course, is that they've hired ex-GOP aides to help them market properly. They've had an emergency meeting. They're planning on dumping millions in marketing to rescue the brand, but they won't apologize. So I will give you a strong go yourselves, Bud Light. I'm not going to support you. I'm not going to drink your garbage beer. I had a Yingling the other day. And there was a dinner in West Virginia, a special event. And they had a cash bar. No Bud Light. None. Guess what the funny thing is? It was actually in the fridge because the venue had Bud Light, but they didn't put it out. And the bartender was like, well, I mean, if somebody really wants it, we'll get one for them, but we're not displaying it. And I'm like, there you go. You cannot sell a beer you don't display. People walk up and I'll take a Heineken. But at this event in West Virginia, I don't think anybody would be buying Bud Light anyway. So now they're panicked. They're going to spend millions of dollars because they think dumping more money into marketing will rescue them instead of telling you, their customer base, that they're sorry for sponsoring an individual who is selling alcohol to children. Look, I know a lot of people are like, oh, we don't like the whole transgender stuff being sent to kids and all that. That's a component. But Dylan Mulvaney's core audience is under the age of 21. And so Bud Light said, we want to get young people. Yeah, they're basically saying they want to market beer to kids. Well, you shouldn't do that. But take a look at this story. Come back, Bud. Indiana bar pleads for customers to return after telling them they were not welcome for speaking out against trans Dylan Mulvaney Bud Light partnership. Good riddance to a bad problem. The Fairfax Bar and Grill in Bloomington, Indiana, is asking customers to come back amid backlash from their stance on the Dylan Mulvaney Bud Light partnership. Oh, I love to see it. These morons. What do? They go on Twitter. They see a bunch of weird crackpot far-left cultism. They assume to themselves this is what Americans want, and they espouse it in a pathetic attempt to virtue signal. Instead of standing up for what they believe in, they virtue signal. And it's backfired miserably because it turns out regular people have real issues with Dylan Mulvaney. And when you defended them, well, now everybody's mad at you. I love it. They put out this message. Let me read you the post they put out initially. Look at this. It says, we are well aware of the controversy surrounding Bud Light. We support all people in this establishment, no matter who you are or how you identify. We will continue to sell Anheuser-Busch products. It's spelled Anheuser wrong, by the way, because we don't care who they make special cans for. If you are intolerant of other humans of any kind, we ask that you keep your opinions to yourself. Should you feel the need to discuss this matter in public, you'll be asked to leave. We will not tolerate intolerance here. I love the paradox of we don't care who they make cans for. If you're intolerant of other humans, you're out of here. It's like you're literally being intolerant of other humans. The paradox. Oh, the failure. Well, they've issued a statement basically apologizing. A lot has been said, some correct. I want to clarify my stance. What I really want to convey is just be respectful. Different opinions are welcome here as long as they're delivered. You reap what you sow. Join the dark side, the bar said. You march in lockstep with psychotic zombie cultists. This is what you get. And Bud Light should be warned. Anheuser-Busch should be warned. It is no different at the larger scale. I'm sick and tired of it. I am sick and tired of this Elsa Gate-esque crackpot cultism where some moron goes on Twitter and says something like, I'm in favor of this ridiculous thing. And then these people all just go, so are we. We all support ridiculous thing for no reason. Do these people have no conscious thought of their own? I hope. You know what I really hope for? Which is just never going to happen. That Bud Light as a brand ceases to exist because of this. I know that's not reality. It's not going to happen. But, I can dream, can't I? How amazing would it be if Bud Light became just a dead brand? Nobody buys it. The sales drop to a point where it just doesn't make sense economically for Anheuser-Busch to continue pursuing it. And then Budweiser follows. Now, I know there's Michelob Ultra and there's Modelo, and maybe they'll survive. I don't think Anheuser-Busch as a company needs to go under to satisfy my emotions, but if Bud Light just became a bunk brand because of this, I would be oh so happy. You know what else I'd be satisfied with? If no one ever sponsored Dylan Mulvaney again because of how toxic this person is. You know what I think people need to understand? Let me tell you this story right here. Anheuser-Busch employs ex-GOP aides for damage control after Dylan Mulvaney fallout. So this is offensive. I think Anheuser-Busch doing this is even more offensive than it's adding insult to injury. Instead of just coming out and saying, yeah, we're sorry for sponsoring Dylan Mulvaney, we won't do it again. They're bringing people in secret and saying, what can we do? What can we do? We don't want to apologize. We're proud of what we did. They think you are so stupid that they can sit back, laugh, spit in your face, and you'll buy their beer anyway. Well, are you stupid? I don't know. Maybe some people are. Maybe they're just like, well, I guess it's okay now. I can't imagine an American being the kind of person that would walk up to someone who would then spit in their face and then be like, don't worry, I won't spit in your face again. And they're like, okay. And then they get spit in the face again. And then they're like, I guess I'll just stand here. Is that America? Is that what Americans do? See, what I expect is reasonableness. And I was talking about that scene from Bronx Tale that I saw last week, which I thought was just absolutely incredible. I've never seen the movie, just saw the clip. And it's the mob boss. There's a bunch of loud, angry bikers. He walks into the bar and goes, what's the problem? And the biker's like, this guy's saying they can't serve us a beer. And the manager is like, they're not dressed properly. And then the biker guy, and they're all in their jean vests or whatever, he's like, look, man, we just like a couple beers. We'll enjoy them, be on our way. The mob boss goes, spoken like a gentleman. Give these men their beers. And that was American. That he's like, you know what? You give me respect, I give you respect. Thank you, sir. You have a nice day. And then the biker gang sprays the bartender with the beers and laughs, and he goes, okay, now you got to leave. And then these guys say, F off, we'll leave when we tell you we're leaving. Mob boss walks over, closes and locks the door, and he turns around and goes, now you can't leave. And then I love this. He's just like, at that point, they knew they screwed up going in the wrong bar. And then a bunch of the boys come out with baseball bats and crowbars. Look, I'm not an advocate for any of that kind of violence or anything, but the idea of America is this, to me at least, or a component of it. We don't take disrespect. In this country, you can be a farmer and you can tell the president, go F yourself. It used to be that you dare defend the king. Oh, they'd beat you, lock you up. And we said, no. The poorest man in this country can tell the richest man to screw off. Ain't nothing he can do about it. I mean, there's a lot of things you could try to do. You can smear his name. You know these things. What does he care? The police ain't going to come and arrest him for it. But in this country, you give, you get respect. And if you break that respect, then we tell you F off. Anheuser-Busch, every day I read the news about what Anheuser-Busch is doing, it is more of them laughing and spitting in our faces over and over again. At this point, I am satisfied to say I will never forgive Anheuser-Busch. Let me tell you what this is all about. It's a culture war, my friends. They're trying to buy you off. They want you to go and buy their beer, but they don't want to be responsible. They want to be corrupt. They want to be crooked. They want to support bad things. So they see a person like Dylan Mulvaney, who is nails on a chalkboard to the average person, who exemplifies all of the worst things about social media culture. And they prop this person up. And instead of saying we see the folly in our ways, they just say, let's sweep it under the rug and never talk about it and hope that the people who buy Bud Light are so stupid, so effing stupid that they will come and buy our product again because they're morons. That's how I feel. Maybe you don't feel the way. That's how I feel. I feel like behind the scenes, they're saying our audience are so effing dumb that if we ignore this, they'll come back and buy our product because they're stupid. Are you? Me? I'm not interested. I'm sick and tired of all of it. I'm sick and tired of the woke garbage at Netflix. I'm sick and tired of the woke garbage at Disney, and I've reached my wit's end. A few years ago, I was like, I'm not going to boycott Hulu. Hulu put up some tweet about cultural appropriation. I said, it's a stupid tweet. Take it down. I'm not going to shut down my Hulu account over this. I'm done. I am sick of it. These corporations are psychotic, moronic, and elitist scumbags. You want to play this cult crack pottery? I'm going to say F off. I'm done. I am done with your product. Anheuser-Busch had every opportunity to tell you they were sorry. They didn't want to do it. Nah, they would rather just spit in your face. So you know what? You take a look at this bar. I love it. A local bar said, we're going to defend the crackpot psychotic algorithmic nightmare that is the internet and people like Dylan Mulvaney. Not you. And now they're reeling from it. Now they're begging people to come back. Let's take a look at what else is going on here. Bud Light to spend heavily on marketing after Dylan Mulvaney controversy. This from a few days ago. Anheuser-Busch is reportedly planning a major marketing push for Bud Light as the beer giant scrambles to recover. How about you tweet, we're sorry for sponsoring Dylan Mulvaney? But you know what? It's too late at this point. You are psychopaths, you are nasty people, and you deserve everything you get. And I got to tell you, my friends, if people want to be associated with Bud Light, if people want to buy this product, let them do it. I am done. Be that person. You got the Bud Light executives taking a piss all over your face, and if you want to drink that garbage, go ahead and do it. Because that's who you are. The kind of person who drops to their knees and says, thank you, Bud Light, may I have another? I'm done. I'm done. Ben Steinman, editor of Beer Marketer's Insights, told the New York Post that Anheuser-Busch executives informed distributors this week in a closed-door meeting in Washington that the company will spend heavily on the brand after spending fell off a cliff last year. Okay. Look at this. Now what's happening? Anheuser-Busch faces call to reaffirm support for trans community. Let's see where they go. The Human Rights Campaign is calling on Anheuser-Busch, the maker of Bud Light, to publicly reaffirm its support for the trans community following weeks of right-wing pushback. It's not right-wing pushback. That's what they don't get. These people represent a microscopic portion of this country, and brands keep marching in lockstep behind them. But I tell you this, my friends, this is what I said in the earlier segment. On the weekends, I'll go out to, MGM or Maryland Live, hang out with regular old people at the poker table. I bring a Bud Light, they all start laughing. Nobody's drinking it. It's not even, I don't even know if they know about what's going on. It's just become a meme. You don't want to be seen drinking it. That's what you represent. To all these middle-aged guys and young men who want to look like they're tough, you say to them, if you drink this Bud Light, they look like they are gay. I'm not saying it's an insult. I'm saying they look like they are men who like men. Now, whether you care about whether men like men or otherwise, I'm not saying it as an insult. I want to make sure that's clear. I'm saying quite literally, men are being told this is the beer for homosexual males. These young guys, they don't want to be associated with that. They don't want to look like that. These older guys, they don't want to be associated with that either. That's what your brand marketing has done. So, okay. All right. Anheuser-Busch, you got one of two options. You can do what the Human Rights Campaign says, reaffirm your support, and make sure everyone knows that Bud Light is the beer of being a man who likes a man. And you know what? To all the gay men who want to drink Bud Light, man, you go for it. Absolutely. I mean, you buy the product you want. For everybody else, I don't know. Maybe you could take like a Yingling or something. Maybe they don't sell it in your area. I don't know. Coors is available. And you know what's important? I pointed this out to the regular people I was talking to. I was at MGM National Harbor, and these guys were livid over Bud Light. I'm not kidding. Not an exaggeration. Go hang out and hear what these guys have to say. They were like, fire them, fire the executives. They believed the executives were fired. I said, the executives were not fired. They're like, yeah, they were fired. I read that. I was like, no, they were put on leave. They're going to try and bring them back and hope this blows over. They're like, what? No, I heard they were fired. Like, they weren't fired. They were put on leave. And they're like, huh. But they were pissed. They were just outright pissed off. These guys didn't know anything about politics. So, okay, Bud Light. The regular dudes chilling at a casino, ordering a beer. Lady walks by, says, anybody want a drink? Ain't nobody ordering your beer. By all means, do your thing. I don't care that Coors Light has made pride flag ads. I don't care that Jack Daniels had RuPaul's Drag Race people. I was like, I don't care about that. Adults can do what adults do. I am not a staunch conservative. But Dylan Mulvaney is nails on a chalkboard. Dylan Mulvaney is marketing booze to children. Dylan Mulvaney is an algorithmic person who exploits the algorithm for fame. And so fine. You know, I'm feel like, going in circles, but here we go. We got more news. Let me see if I can pull this one up. Dylan Mulvaney speaks out after Bud Light controversy, saying a lot has been said about me, some of which is so far from my truth. You see what this is? Dylan Mulvaney, let me tell you, I hope regular people who don't know what's going on hear this. I hope you share this with your Democrat aunt and uncle. Let me tell you about Dylan Mulvaney. Dylan Mulvaney is not transgender. Dylan Mulvaney is a character played by an actor who is trying to be famous. And like any actor who gets plastic surgery, that's what Dylan Mulvaney does. Dylan Mulvaney has the blind support of groups like the Human Rights Campaign, despite the fact that Dylan Mulvaney is not transgender. Now, of course, you may be saying, what are you talking about? I watched the video. Dylan Mulvaney is a male who's just like, oh, Dylan Mulvaney mocks trans people relentlessly with vigor and gets support from the corporate press because that's what the algorithm says and wants. But I assure you, when Dylan Mulvaney sings a song about having a bulge sticking out of his pants, that's not what trans people do. When Dylan Mulvaney wears hiking heels in the woods and falls down screaming, "Ooh, a bug," is that what women or trans people are supposed to be? So this is what really pisses me off. What pisses me off is that we're facing a crisis. Social media is propping up the most insane garbage. People doing weird, crazy things. Well, for a while, big tech was trying to capture this and shut it down. Things like Elsagate. Dylan Mulvaney is the uncanny valley of Elsagate that gets by and they're scared to ban. Or maybe TikTok wants to spread this kind of, brain-melting algorithmic nonsense. And then what happens is these big brands see 10 million followers and they sponsor it. Okay. Well, you know what? I'm on board with sponsoring any brand now. Nike? Yeah, I'm done. Never liked Nike in the first place. Now, okay, I will never purchase a Nike product ever again. I know the Colin Kaepernick thing was I didn't care as much. Now, with this Dylan Mulvaney, okay, whatever, later. Maybelline, I don't wear makeup, but I'm going to advocate everybody avoid that product. I want every product that decides to sponsor the algorithmic mess that is the Dylan Mulvaney channel to lose because of it. I don't have any beef with Dylan Mulvaney as a person. Personally, I don't know. But I think what Dylan Mulvaney does is despicable. I think Dylan Mulvaney is nails on a chalkboard to the average person. I think Dylan Mulvaney is the banality of evil. My truth. Okay. Dylan Mulvaney is exploiting the current state of trans politics to become famous, so desperately to be famous, mocking trans people and women in the process. And the left is a mess of psychotic monster cultists that latch onto this stuff and march with it. It exemplifies everything. Racism, bad thing? Of course. We don't want racism. We don't want segregation. We want people to be friends. So what does the left do? Latch on to anything the social media algorithm argues is their side. So when the left starts setting up these POC, non-POC meetings, meaning racially segregated meetings, and the photos are all over the place, the left defends it and says that's fighting racism. That's right. Bringing back segregated spaces to the left is fighting racism. Dylan Mulvaney represents all of that. And that's enough, I say. I'm just done. I will boycott everything. We launched our own coffee brand, Cast Brew. You got Jeremy's chocolate. I got chocolate bars all over the place. We're going to start making our own companies. And the left, they can scream and cry and be like, stupid conservative chocolate. That's dumb. Don't care. I'm just not buying yours. So I bought 2,000 chocolate bars from Jeremy's Chocolate. And I hope Jeremy Boring of the Daily Wire takes that money from the chocolate bars I bought, from all the profits. I hope he throws it onto his bed and jumps in that pile of money. He deserves it. I ordered 600 cans of Conservative Dad's Ultra Light beer, and I don't drink beer. but other people might want to, and I sure as heck ain't going to carry any Bud Light. We have Cast Brew Coffee. Go to castbrewcoffee.com, purchase our coffee, because it's about time we just say, if they ain't going to stop doing it, we're going to start. We're going to make our own companies. Cast Brew Cafe is currently being built. We've been clearing stuff out. We're building the plumbing. We've been talking with, I just had a meeting with state government about setting up our own social club. We want poker. We might not be able to get poker. It's a silly nonsense thing, but I'll talk about it. Oh boy, do I got another story for you. A man won the women's poker World Poker Tour event, which is really funny. But we want to have that. Maybe we won't. But we're going to set up the social club. Why? We're going to create our own spaces. We're going to make our own products because there's no point in waiting for Anheuser-Busch to do the right thing. They're scumbags. They have outright said they would rather spend millions of dollars than just tell you they value you as a customer. They don't want you to think that. They just want to be like, I ain't saying nothing to you. Screw you. Buy my beer. I say, no, I won't. Seth Weathers, Conservative Dad's Ultra Right beer is what I bought. That's what I'm buying. Ultra Right beer. Small brewery. I'll take that. And I hope Jeremy Boring and the Daily Wire make their own brewery. They're in Nashville. They can buy a honky tonk. They can set up their own brewery and they can have Shapiro Brew or whatever they want to call it. Jeremy's beer. I'll buy that too. Anybody who says we believe in American values, go to publicsquare.com. Shout out to our good friends, publicsq.com. Download the app, support those businesses. The businesses that say outright, we are here for American values. Because I am sick of all of it. CNN writes, they should stay the course. They should partner with Dylan Mulvaney. They should push forward because in the end, they'll win. That's what they think. And let me tell you, Colin Kaepernick took a knee. Everybody burns their Nike gear. 3 years later, every athlete is taking a knee. And it's controversial to be the one athlete standing up for America. How did we let it get that bad? So I am done. And I urge all of you, seek out actively brands that support America. I'm not a staunch conservative. I'm at a meeting with a bunch of conservatives saying a prayer the other day. And I'm like, that ain't me. That's not who I am. But you know what? We agree as Americans on American values. You may be Christian. I may not be. I do believe in God. I always stress that because for some reason people call me an atheist. But we may have different beliefs in terms of faith. You may think that's very bad. But we agree on American values and a certain moral framework I agree with as well. We allow for different opinions. And that's the fault of the liberty faction, the freedom faction, conservatives, libertarians, etc. We say to the left, we disagree with your opinions, but we believe in your right to express them, and they don't return the favor. So enough. I won't support them. I won't support their businesses. I will boycott all of them. I hope you do the same. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 4 p.m. You're gonna want to hear this one. A man winning the women's poker tour, the ladies event, and he did it to make a point. Got a lot to talk about there. So thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all at 4 p.m. on this channel.